Life skills, life school, where boys and girls you can make it through. I'm talking to young men and women. You have no limit to the things you can do when you use life skills.
Yes, y'all. Like I told you, in my birthday interview week, and I told you I'm gonna bring you the biggest names in the game. Life Skill, Life School, episode 32. I go by the name of the Entertainer. Follow me on all social media platforms and even on Cash App. Today, my guest is the one and only. As you saw in the information up leading to this interview, we were classmates, business partners, roommates. He was the first one I spoke in front of an audience with. We were the dynamic duo. We started at Tennessee State University. A lot of things, we had a lot of firsts together. You know, back in the day, somebody asked us, did we want to do business with this major organization? And they said, hey, if you want to do business with us, go take care of these kids. So that's how we started speaking. There was no blueprint. There was no money involved. There was no, this is how you do it. It basically was, hey, you show up tomorrow morning, and we can talk business. Because our business is these kids. And so we took the challenge. Me and this brother right here, Andre Lee, took the challenge. And we had one day. We didn't have no time to think about it. So it's a lot of people out here, they put too much thought into different things instead of just going and learning. And so we started a program called If I Can, You Can, We Can. Because if I could do it, you could do it. And if you could do it, we could do it. We took the game on Uno because that's what everybody knew at the time. And in life, you dealt your cards. And how you play your cards, that determines how you not only play the game, but how you stay in the game. And we also had a skillet. You might not remember, but we had a skillet. And we just said skill it because everyone has a recipe for success. And it's up to you what you're going to put into your pot so that you can skill it. And we took the motivational game from Nashville, Tennessee to Memphis, Tennessee, to Knoxville, Tennessee. We took it to Mississippi. We took it all the way to Washington, D.C. We didn't have cell phones back then. We didn't have computers back then. We used to do logos where we draw it on a piece of paper, take the Kinko, and they fix our lines up. We had a business called Hayes and Lee, Creative Relations. I tell you that because we said whatever you needed, we were going to get it done. Creating ideas that relate to your needs. Tennessee State needed a banners for their advertising program. We found us a banner company. UNLV needed T-shirts for their weightlifting program. We're gonna get it done. We're gonna make you some T-shirts. And one day I tapped him on the shoulder. He probably thought I was crazy, but I said, "Hey man, you see that wall over there? We're gonna send people to school with that." So if you ever on the downtown campus of Tennessee State University, there's a Wall of Excellence Scholarship and Development Fund. And everybody in the organization of Tennessee State that could have told us no, told us yes. And so today, there's a Wall of Excellence that's up, and it's helped raise over $1 million because me and this brother right here, Andre Lee, we just said, let's try it, and it worked. So I just share those things with you because we have some history, and it's a beautiful thing, man. So Dre, how you doing today?
Man, enjoying every minute. It was great hearing you go down some great memories of what we created over years to solidify the hustle.
Oh yeah.
I was a little nervous when you told me because when you kept saying life skills, that kind of stuff. I thought this was an episode for light skinned people, and then I had to look at it again. I was like, oh, okay, life skills.
Nah, man. They don't know you more Malcolm X than MLK now. But now, when we go back, man, one of the funny moments was, I don't know if you remember this one. We was at an elementary school one time, right? And me and you were speaking. And we got done. And I turned my back and all the kids swarmed you. and they started asking for autographs, right?
Yeah.
And so I was like, man, I'm thinking, man, what's going on, man? I was up here too. And then after they got done with you, they swarmed me. So it was crazy the impact that we had, even on the young people. And it's just inspirational, man. So it's a blessing. So now you're at a new stage in your life. You're the co-founder of CareerLIFE.
Yes,
So
sir.
blessing that you're on the path. You're still working with young people. And if there's anyone out there right now and they like information on this great guy, Andre Lee, go to his website at mycareerlife.org, mycareerlife.org. And in honor of his father, I'm wearing the tie today, Dr. Lee. Dr. Lee is Andre Lee's father, and he used to always ask us, are you making any money?
Yep.
Every idea we had, are you
Yep.
what? Are you making any money? So I'm rocking the Doc Lee in honor of my guy, the hospital administrator. He was one of the first people we heard of say he's gonna start a hospice. And so it's always a blessing to talk to you, and also, just being in the breadth of his insight.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
today through the word career, we're gonna find out what's going on in your life right now and see what it is that you're doing and what career life is all about, man, because you got, you've been everywhere, man. You're real humble. You real humble. But I know how genius you are. I know, I've been around you, man. I've seen one of the greatest things I've seen was when you worked with Kroger back in the day. And when you worked with Kroger, you brought ideas to the table. So a lot of people, they look at supply diversity, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they see what a lot of these companies are doing. But a lot of these companies wouldn't be in these stores if it weren't for you. Because I remember you made it a point. You was serious. You said, hey, I got to get more Black-owned businesses in these stores. And so people need to know that, because a lot of times people just see things happening and they don't know who originated, who was the original one that was initiating these opportunities. So the C in careers for create.
Mm-hmm.
You see how beautiful that is. We live here.
That's right.
Right, boy, I made a mistake, but
It's all good.
That's live TV, baby. That's live TV. The C is for create. What is career life about, and what made you want to create and present this concept to the world?
Well, definitely, because you brought up a memory being at Kroger at the time, and so I do want to say something about that. And what's interesting about it was, which also speaks to how long ago it was. I remember one of my projects was to bring African American greeting cards to Kroger,
Right.
and that was an uphill battle. And eventually, it got into multiple stores, and so it just lets you know how far you come along. Over my last 18 years, I've been blessed to have worked with students not only across the United States, but also in Australia, New Zealand, Mexico, and also Canada, and mostly the Aboriginals. In Mexico, it had to do more with economics. Those were the students that had money and that didn't have money, and obviously the ones that didn't have money were the ones that I focused in on. CareerLIFE is an organization that focuses on a 360 approach towards helping students of color to secure the career of their dreams while laying the foundation for personal wellness. And so when I say personal wellness, I'm talking about financial, emotional, social, spiritual. What we try to do is understand their own personal goals, needs, strengths, developmental areas, and even the environment that they're in, and try to work together with them to design and educate and encourage them, because all of us need encouragement to get through this, because we know, as you already know, it's tough. But by doing all these things with the students, this is how CareerLIFE is creating, a successful you. The reason why we started it is because we found that some organizations only focused on helping the student get into school. We had some organizations that only helped them to get a job. And then we had some organizations that focused on some aspect of the personal side, whether it's mental health or physical health. And so what we wanted to do was combine it together, which is why you find career and life. We
Right.
wanted to bring both together because you have to have a balance of both in order to really make it worthwhile and effective to live in what was once the world and what is now the world.
Right. Right. Okay. Okay. The A is for areas. I'm gonna change the question up a little bit because you answered some of the other things.
Mm-hmm.
Like when students approach you, or what is the main area that they're looking for, area that they need help in?
Well,
Because you can offer 10 things,
mm-hmm.
but what do they say? Hey, career life, this is what I need. This is
Yeah.
what I need help in.
Yeah, I mean, the vast majority, it always starts with what you know, and most of our students know I got to get a job,
Right.
right? Um, but what people don't realize is that 60%, or almost 65% of minority students, when they graduate with a degree, they're underemployed. And if a student does not have a job lined up by the time they graduate, almost 80% of those students will take an average of 7.5 months, 7.4 months before they actually find a job. In that case, they're losing upwards of almost $29,000 worth of salary. So one is to help them to really understand what are the opportunities that match their true interests, but not only prepare them for the interview, but also how to negotiate that interview. Because once you sign on the dotted line, that's it. And most of us tend to sign for less than what we're actually valued because we tend to undervalue what we bring to the table. It's always this perception of, oh my gosh, I need this job. No, they need you. That company's trying to grow. That company's trying to make money. So they out there hiring because they need somebody like you to help them.
Right.
And once you get that job, the only thing you got at that point is, if you find out, and we already know, people in the community, whether Black, Latino, they tend to make less than their peers. And a lot of it's because they don't research and prepare accordingly. So the first part is always, and what they come to us about is always about getting the job. But it's more than just that. It's also making sure that they find the right job at the right benefit, salary and benefits package to go
Right.
along with it. Because
Right.
it's about wealth management. It's about closing that wealth gap, which we know, in our community, it's only 1/8 of what the majority makes at this point.
All right. The R is for responsibility. Why is it your responsibility to go above and beyond to help students?
Yeah, I think one of the places it starts with is yourself. Having known you and our own backgrounds coming up, we know it's not easy. No matter how smart and intelligent you are, there's always more. If I know today what I would have known 20 years ago, man, I would be 10 years ahead, right? Maybe I wouldn't have bought the 15 cars I had before I graduated, all that kind of stuff. But it starts with yourself knowing, man, what could I have done better? And even though I felt like I've done some things that, even my dad says, wow, I didn't even do that when I grew up. That made me feel good because I felt like at least I pushed my family forward for
Right.
generations to come by just that little bit. The
Right.
second part is, just as your kids, you see it in your kids. And, you don't want your kids to struggle. You don't want them to see the same thing. So that's another part of it. And then three, all you got to do is turn on the TV, see what's happening to these kids, see that, even again, when you look at our community today, we people in our community are making almost the same amount of money in comparison as what it was back in 1978. Come on. Yeah, you got some folks that made it, but as a whole, we haven't made it. And so when you think about the number of students that are coming up today, and in this pandemic, they're gonna face difficulties that we weren't aware of.
Right.
So to me, if somebody told me once, and I totally agree, when you get mad, that makes you want to do something about it. And
Right.
that's what motivates me today.
The E is for education. How important to you was your HBCU education, and what can you tell parents and students that are on the fence about going to a HBCU?
Yeah, again, it goes back to what we deem as valuable, right? And HBCUs are just as valuable, if not even more so, some of the other schools. The thing about HBCU is it's like family and friends, and in many cases, family and friends want to make sure you succeed. And if you need help, they're gonna help you. You may not find that in the majority of schools.
Right.
And some of them are so big, they don't even know you on the campus. All they know is that you paid on time or that you didn't. Right.
Yeah.
So at HBCU, when I think about Tennessee State University, I mean, they worldwide, but many of the alum don't even realize they're
Right.
training CEOs today. They're accredited and have received so many awards, but they don't maybe they don't tout it enough, or maybe our alumni don't speak of it enough. But these HBCUs are doing great things. Yeah, there's gonna be a couple here and there that are struggling,
Right.
but for the vast majority, they're not doing any worse than any of these other schools. If anything, I will tell you, you're gonna build some lifelong relationships, and you know it just as well as I do. We still know many of the professors, some of those professors that are now deans, and
Right.
everything, and presidents,
Right.
and they still know us, and that's that connectivity. So I think there's a lot of growth beyond just getting an education that you're going to get at an HBCU.
Right. Because when we were first started college, Dr. Lowndes was our professor.
Hmm.
Now she's the dean of the College of Business.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a blessing, man, because you had to really get to know people, and
Yeah.
yeah, and so we made the most of it, and we still in touch to this day. It's like it's like a family union, just talking to people. We even thought about having a fifth floor reunion, coming up.
Yeah. Well, let me just say this. You said it at the opening. If we were there's no way a majority school, in my opinion, would have given us the opportunity we had to create this scholarship fund. And if you remember, we were seniors. We were at the
Right,
beginning of our senior. It took us a year to make this happen. So we
right,
were we were still college students, and TSU stepped out on the limb to say, "Hey, these guys got this crazy idea." Well,
right.
Derrick had the crazy idea because he was known as being crazy, but here's this crazy idea. But we're gonna give them a shot. So, I don't know that we could have gotten it anywhere else outside of an HBCU for what we brought to the table.
Sorry. The E is for employment. How are you coaching differently with the pandemic? With how you normally would do it. How
Sure.
are things changing up for you? How helping others get employed or stay employed, or how are things changing for you?
Yeah, to be honest, it's really not that much different. Okay.
Right,
But let me say what I would say is different. How you prepare for those video interviews, those phone interviews is different. Sometimes our students forget some of the basic things, like checking your internet connection. If you're going to take a phone interview, what parts of your house the connection ain't all that great.
right, right,
Make sure your lighting is right and all that other good stuff. So there's little things from that standpoint that helps. Still dress in your suit.
right,
Still look the part. Still be careful about your filler words, the uhs, the ahs, and likes. But beyond that, it's not much different, because what we're saying to students is you have to research. I know it gets boring, but that research and that boring stuff, it's going to make you look back and say, man, I'm making all this money. My family's comfortable. I'm living well. I'm able to help others, support my church, support my community because of that extra effort. Folks aren't going to give it to you. Don't look at, and my other thing is to not get so locked into the media. Oh, they're going to have 1 million jobs out there for my age group. That may be true. That don't mean it's for you.
right,
That don't mean they're going to hire you.
right,
So I think the prep work, is doing the research and understanding where you are. Because some of the students, they say, well, if I can get a $40,000 job, I'll be straight. Really? Well, what kind of bills you got now? What bills are you gonna have when the student loan comes in? And then they realize 40,000 ain't much to cover the debt that they already have and built up, and not understanding why benefits are so important as part of that research. So I don't think the prep work is changed as much, except for the actual interviewing and how it takes place.
Right, right. So you saying with they pep talk, they need a prep talk.
Exactly. They everybody needs a cheerleader. Because truth be told, and I'm always gonna give Derrick some love. I was more on the what you call it, reserved side. Derrick just brought it out of me. But you need that person that helps drive you. And because of that foundation we set working together all those years, that's really what's kind of laid the pathway for, okay, whether I'm working for this company, that company, or working on my own, man, I need to be hustling constantly.
Right.
Constantly, no matter the environment. And you need people around you. Nobody can do it by themselves, ever.
Right.
Ever.
And the last one is reinvention. How important is it to be able to reinvent yourself, and not just to have a life, but like you said, to have a career life?
Yeah, reinvention is critical. I mean, the pandemic has made that a reality for everybody. Yeah, you used to go into the office, but now you got to work from home, and you find it's a little bit harder. Because I don't know about y'all, sometimes I work at home and realize, man, my bed's around the corner. I need another power nap.
Right.
So you got to change your mentality, man. Maybe I need to go work at a coffee shop or something to, take some extra energy boosters, or work out in the morning so that I have that extra steam to make it through my day. So I think reinvention is critically important. But a part of that is it starts with establishing what are your goals in the first place, because
Right.
you don't want to throw away your goals, but how you get there it may be a little bit of that reinvention. The other thing is, you may be asked to do things that's different than you've ever expected. But I still believe that everything happens for a reason.
Right.
And some of it may be learning a new skill set, gaining some experience that you didn't have before, because it's preparing you for something you have not yet experienced. So I think the reinvention comes with making sure that your goals are intact, because it may be you just need to readjust those. And as a part of that, may be a re-education to prepare yourself for a different path to get you towards your goal. So reinvention is critically important.
Hey, appreciate it, brother Andre Lee. Before we go, man, is there anything you like to add, or is there anything that we missed out on?
No, I think all of us can help our kids, and even today, as schools are trying to figure out how to do it, I don't think people need to wait for the government to tell you how to do it. I don't think you need to wait for the school system to know how to do it. You really need to think about what's in the best interest for you and your family going forward, whether it's the education, the financial side of it. And I do believe we have to get back to community. If I'm good, if I'm not good at math and science, but I know Derrick is, then maybe there's things that Derrick can help share with my kids. And if his kids need help with, career preparation or negotiating a job offer, then I should be able to help him. And I think the churches play a big role in that. And I don't know that we talk about a community to raise a child, but I don't know that we've necessarily pulled that together. Everybody should help their kids. Even if you think all I know how to do is balance a checkbook. Well, you know what? I can tell you there's a ton of kids today at 18 and 21 that don't know how to balance a checkbook. You got a skill, share it. Don't wait for somebody else to do it, or assume they're going to learn it from somebody else.
Right, right. Each one could really teach one.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. This is my brother Andre Lee. We go back to the late 80s, early 90s. Andre Lee. Now,
that's right.
Co-founder of CareerLIFE. He don't want you to have just a career. He wants you to have a life, a career life. Life skill, life school. I told you this is my birthday week. This is my birthday week. My birthday
Happy birthday!
July. Life skill, life school, episode 32. I go by the name of the Entertainer. Follow me on all social media platforms and even on Cash App. And like I tell people, my bad. And for more information on CareerLIFE, go to his website once again, www.mycareerlife.com. And like I tell people each and every time, you hear one of my interviews. Focus on your skills. People actually listen to what you say and they watch what you do. Work on your craft, because what you say and what you do, the work that you present before others, your resume, it may be the only school that they ever see. And until next time, I thank each and every one of you, especially my brother, Andre Lee.
Yes, sir.
Until next time, I thank you for your time.
All right. Be blessed, brother.
Life skills, life school, where boys and girls, you can make it through. I'm talking to young men and women. You have no limit to the things you can do when you use life skills.